Hey, guess who's back? Rami Essaid is back. He is with Distil Networks. Thanks to our good friends at 1-800-PR, distilnetworks.com. He came back with us. These guys are a bot detection, mitigation, cybersecurity experts. Yeah, these guys are higher in the food chain. Rami, thanks so much for coming back. And one of the best parts about Rami is he was, first of all, he's a great guy, but he's also funded through the venture community, really understands venture financing. Yeah. Rami, what's going on, man? Good to have you back.
Hey, thanks so much for having me back.
Hey, listen, I want to spend a little bit of time talking about the financing side. But first of all, talk to us about your company real quick, because I want to give you a chance to talk about Distil Networks.
Absolutely. So Distil, we help companies identify the difference between a bot and a real person across your website. We eliminate those squiggly CAPTCHAs from websites. We make it so that we can transparently tell if you're a real person or not. And that's what those CAPTCHAs, the squiggly lines, are trying to do for companies. They're trying to eliminate the bad actors, the bad bots, and we can do that transparently for companies. And so we make it just a better user experience.
I hate when that happens, because you get to the end of the whole, you filled out all the forms and you're like, what? I can't even read this one. Well, you push the speaker. I can't understand you now.
Hey, by the way, what is the purpose of the bot thing, Rami? Why do they care if I'm not automated? And it's probably a stupid question, but I have to ask anyway. Like, if I'm buying a pair of shoes on Zappos, why do they care if I'm a bot or not?
Well, let's say if you're buying a pair of shoes, bots don't need shoes. What's actually happening is your competitors are using bots to figure out how many shoes and how much you're pricing them at, and then coming back and reporting so they can adjust their pricing to beat you. One big example of why bots are so bad. Let's say you're a ticket agency, right? You're Ticketmaster, and you put the latest, Hannah Montana tickets up on sale.
Got it.
Oh my God! Yes.
And then all of a sudden, I don't know if she's still a thing, but you put the latest tickets, and then bots come in and sweep up all the good tickets, and then they put them out they scalp them online and somewhere else for 3 times the price. In fact, Chuck Schumer just put legislation out on the Senate floor to try to combat this. Bots are such a big deal that Congress is taking up bots.
Yeah.
So what's interesting about this is this falls under the realm of cybersecurity, as we've talked about before, and the cybersecurity sort of thing. It's the next terrorist threat, correct? This is the next threat to our financial system, to our ecosystem, to our energy system, correct?
I mean, this is integrated into the online world that if a disruption could impact just our everyday living. So yeah, this is where next wars are going to happen.
I think a bot just snuck onto his phone.
No, it did just for a second. Now before we heard about the Target breach, Rami, I think a lot of us were oblivious to the cybersecurity world, and then suddenly the Target breach happened a couple Thanksgivings ago, and suddenly we were all affected. But you'd think that we would have learned something from that. We hear something almost every week about this. Why do they keep happening?
Well, we slept on it for so long that it's taking people a long time to catch up. The bad guys are just way ahead of us, and people still, we're slowly taking it more and more seriously. But not everybody has caught up, and it's not cheap. It's expensive to get up to speed with the latest cybersecurity tools, the latest companies, the latest defenses. It's not cheap, and people just don't have the knowledge of where to even start. And they're not up to speed. We're trying to catch up to the 8 ball right now.
Talk about how you guys got the company funded, because I think this is a really important part. And I want to have you come back as sort of an expert on this, because I don't think a lot of people realize just how difficult, and how navigable capital formation is. You guys were funded through venture capital, weren't you?
Yeah, so we've raised about $44 million in venture capital over a series of different rounds of financing.
And going out there for a company that needs capital these days, are all investors' criteria specific to a given industry? In other words, will the guy that invests in biotech be the guy that invests in cybersecurity?
No, and that's what a lot of people don't understand. They think venture is absolutely the same. And I thought that way when I first went out raising. I talked to every single investor, and then I got a lot of no's. I got shot down a lot because people didn't understand my business. I was reaching out to the wrong type of investor.
How did you find investors that were criteria specific to what you did, Rami?
The first time it was dumb luck. The first time it was literally I knocked on enough doors until somebody said yes.
Well,
I talked to over 100 different investors.
But let's say I've got an entrepreneur listening to us on the American Forces Radio Network, and they're deployed in Afghanistan. They're going to come back. They got a great idea, and they need to raise some money. How does that guy or gal find
The target?
the target audience, so to speak, for what kind of investor that they need?
Yeah, so now, if you're trying to hone in, when you're first getting started, you want to find something called a seed stage investor. These are guys that are going to write hundreds of thousands of dollar checks to low millions. These aren't the big names that have multi-billion-dollar funds. It's not Sequoia or Bessemer that has enormous funds, because writing a $100,000 check into a $1 billion fund doesn't move the needle. They're not able to get enough returns on their investment.
So it's not worth. And then how does one find one of those investors? And the obvious question has got to be, what kind of valuation, what kind of money, what kind of equity are you giving up for a let's say $500,000?
Yeah, so early on, the thing that I've learned is no matter how much you're raising, you're always going to give up about 0.25% of your company each time.
Okay.
And so, when I was raising a couple $100,000 to when I raised $33 million, that was about as much as I gave up every single time.
So 25% of the company, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, about 25% of the company each time. Now, you don't give up only from your percentage. What's interesting is over time, everybody gives up that 25%. So after you raise your first round, then the next time, the investors that are already in are giving up a 25% of their chunk as well.
Well,
everybody gets diluted equally.
You are a wealth of wisdom, Rami. I want to make you a regular guest if we can, because not just about the cybersecurity stuff, which we can talk about every day, but that's interesting stuff.
Yeah, and I see that number fluctuate. Like on Shark Tank, some people I'll give you half.
Yeah,
80% for
right.
a buck.
Yeah, that's good. You're watching Shark Tank. That's good.
Shut up. That's where I get all my knowledge.